Imagine finding a secret map hidden in a dead pirate chest, a map that leads to a mountain of cursed gold. But what if the very people helping you find it are actually planning to kill you? That is exactly what happens in the story today. If you love thrilling mysteries and want to level up your English at the same time, hit that subscribe button right now because we have incredible stories for you every single week. Hello and welcome. I am your host, and today I have a fantastic episode lined up for you. We are going to practice our English listening and speaking skills using a classic tale. Do not worry about reading a giant book. We have made a perfectly sized version of Treasure Island just for you. My good friend will read the story at a nice, slow pace. Here is the game plan. First, you will listen to the tale told with simple and clear words. After that, I will jump back in to break down the most important vocabulary. I will explain everything super clearly. Finally, you will get to practice shadowing, meaning you can pause, repeat, or write down what you hear. Our story begins many years ago in a peaceful coastal village. There was a cozy little place called the Admiral Benbow Inn. A young boy named Jim Hawkins lived there with his mom and dad. Life was incredibly quiet and normal. Hardly anyone ever visited, and boring days just blended together. But that all changed the moment a massive, rugged sailor walked through their door. He was a frightening man with a deep scar on his cheek. He rarely spoke, but he always seemed completely on edge. Every single morning, he took his telescope up to the high cliffs and stared out at the ocean. It was like he was waiting for a ghost to appear. He drank way too much rum and loudly sang creepy pirate songs that terrified the other guests. His name was Billy Bones. Billy paid Jim 1 silver coin a month just to watch out for a sailor with one leg. Jim had no idea what Billy was running from, but he knew it was something evil. And speaking of running, if you do not want to miss our next epic story, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss out on the adventure. The terror finally caught up to Billy when a terrifying blind man named Pew arrived at the inn. Pew handed Billy a deadly pirate warning called the Black Spot. It meant death was coming. Billy went completely pale. His heart simply gave out from the shock, and he collapsed on the floor, dead. After this awful event, Jim and his mother searched the wooden chest belonging to Billy to find the money he owed them for his room. They found foreign coins, but they also found something much more valuable. It was a dusty old map, a treasure map. It showed exactly where the terrifying Captain Flint had buried his stolen gold. Jim immediately took this map to a very smart doctor named Dr. Livesey and a wealthy man named Squire Trelawney. The three of them decided right then and there to sail across the ocean to find the gold. To start their journey, they rented a beautiful and sturdy ship called the Hispaniola. It was perfectly built for a long voyage. They also hired a tough but honest man named Captain Smollett to lead them. Jim was lucky enough to join the crew as a cabin boy. He felt so proud. By the way, if you are feeling proud of your English progress today, take a second to hit subscribe so we can keep learning together. Now, the crew had a cook named Long John Silver. He only had one leg and moved around with a wooden crutch. He was always smiling, joking, and telling crazy stories about the sea. He even carried a green parrot on his shoulder that constantly squawked about pieces of 8. Everyone loved Silver at first, but Jim was about to uncover a nightmare. One afternoon, Jim was resting inside a large apple barrel on the deck. Suddenly he heard Silver whispering with some of the sailors. Jim froze. He realized that Silver and his friends were actually deadly pirates. Their plan was evil but simple. They would wait for the honest men to find the treasure. Then, the pirates would murder them and steal the ship. Jim was terrified, but he stayed completely silent. Later, he secretly warned the captain and his friends. Now the good men knew they were surrounded by enemies and had to prepare for the fight of their lives. After a long journey, the island finally appeared on the horizon. It was a wild place full of rocks and dark forests. If you are enjoying this suspense, do not forget to subscribe so you can join us for more thrilling English lessons just like this one. Some of the crew took small boats to the shore. Jim went too, but he quickly slipped away into the thick trees. Deep in the forest, he bumped into a wild-looking man named Ben Gunn. Ben was a former pirate who had been left behind on the island 3 long years ago. He survived by eating wild goats and berries. Ben was a little crazy, but he shared a massive secret. He had already found the gold belonging to Captain Flint and moved it to a hidden cave. Ben promised to help Jim if they gave him a ride back home. Meanwhile, chaos broke out on the ship. The pirates fully took over the Hispaniola and demanded the map, but the captain, the doctor, and their loyal friends escaped to an old wooden fort on the island. The pirates attacked them with swords and guns. It was a brutal fight, but the good guys held their ground. Then, Jim did something incredibly brave. He found a tiny boat, paddled out to the main ship in the dark, fought off a pirate guard, and hid the ship where the others could not find it. It takes a lot of bravery to learn a new language too. So if you are still with us, hit subscribe and become part of our learning crew. Jim returned to the fort to tell his friends the good news. The pirates were running out of options. Silver tried to change sides to save himself, but nobody trusted him anymore. Finally, the pirates used the map and rushed to dig up the gold. But when they got to the spot, there was just a giant empty hole. Ben Gunn had tricked them. The remaining pirates panicked and ran away into the jungle, completely defeated. The good men had won. They followed Ben to his cave and saw mountains of gold, silver, and sparkling jewels. It took them multiple trips just to load all that treasure onto the ship. They sailed away, leaving the worst pirates trapped on the island. Silver managed to sneak away one night with a tiny bag of coins, vanishing forever. Jim finally returned to England as a rich young man, but the money did not matter as much as the journey. He had faced true danger and learned what real bravery meant. The boy who left the inn was gone, replaced by a grown man who had survived a legendary adventure. All right, the story is over, but our work is not done. Let us dive into some of the best vocabulary from today. These words will make you sound so much more natural when you speak. I will give you the word, explain it, and then we will practice shadowing. Say the sentences out loud with me. First up is the phrase, by the sea. This just means next to the ocean or right on the coast. For example, you might say, they built a beautiful house by the sea. Now you say it with me. They lived by the sea. The inn was by the sea. Awesome job. Before we move to the next word, if you love improving your vocabulary, tap that subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Our second word is inn. An inn is a small hotel or pub where travelers can sleep. Like this. We rested at a little inn after a long drive. Now repeat. Let us rest at an inn. Great. Word number 3 is rough. When someone looks rough, it means they look untidy, tough, or a bit wild. For example, the tired man looked rough in his dirty clothes. Now say it with me. He looked rough and scary. That man has a rough voice. Excellent. Next is the word scar. A scar is a permanent mark left on your skin after a bad cut heals. Here's an example. She has a scar on her arm from falling off her bike. Say it with me. He has a scar on his face. Spot on. Moving along to the word nervous. Being nervous means you are anxious or scared about something that might happen. Like this, I always get nervous before a big exam. Let us practice. Jim looked nervous. She felt nervous before the test. Fantastic. Next, we have the phrase, watching for someone. This simply means looking out carefully to see if a specific person is approaching. For example, she stood by the door watching for the delivery driver. Repeat with me. He was watching for danger. Very nice. And hey, we are always watching for new students. So click subscribe to join our amazing community. The next phrase is keep an eye out. This means to stay alert and watch carefully for something. Like this, keep an eye out for a parking spot. Now repeat, keep an eye out for trouble. Brilliant. Our next word is pale. If someone is pale, their face loses its color and looks very white, usually because they are sick or terrified. For instance, he went pale when he saw the ghost. Repeat this. He looked pale. Great work. Next up is collapse. To collapse means to suddenly fall down because you are too weak, sick, or exhausted. Like this. The runner collapsed at the finish line. Let us say it. He collapsed on the floor. Good. Then we have the dramatic phrase, his heart simply gave out. This means the heart of a person stopped beating, often from extreme shock. Practice this one. He was so scared his heart simply gave out. Perfect. Next is adventure. An adventure is an exciting and sometimes risky experience. For example, traveling across Europe was a huge adventure. Now repeat. That was a great adventure. Well done. Next is voyage. A voyage is a very long journey, usually by ship across the ocean. Like this. The voyage to America took 3 months. Say it with me. We went on a long voyage. If your English journey feels like a long voyage, make sure to subscribe so we can guide you every step of the way. We are almost done. The next word is strict. A strict person makes sure everyone follows the rules completely without any exceptions. For example, my parents were very strict about bedtime. Now we have the phrase, take over the ship. This means to steal control of a vessel by force. Like this, the mutineers planned to take over the ship. Next is the phrase, right away. This means to do something immediately without any delay. For example, please call me back right away. Say it with me. Come here right away. And our final phrase is walked off. To walk off means to casually or quietly leave a place. Like this, he got mad and just walked off. Practice with me. Jim walked off into the forest. Amazing job today. You have successfully completed this vocabulary mission. Learning step by step is the secret to fluency, and you do not have to study alone. We are here with you for every single lesson. Thank you so much for watching and practicing today. Bye for now.